In the very first moments of every single episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender, we are introduced to 4 characters representing the peak of bending in each of the 4 elements. For water, we have Paku, the man who would go on to train Katara and marry into their family. His skill is only outmatched by his sexism. For fire, we have Azula. She's possibly the greatest firebender of all time, considering her blue fire is totally unreplicated, in addition to her mastery of lightning. For air, we have Aang. His skill is nearly unparalleled in the air nomads. He received his tattoos at 12 not because he was the Avatar, but because he's just that damn good at airbending, inventing new techniques by himself, just so he can play sports better. So who do we have for Earth? Perhaps a member of the Dai Li? Maybe King Bumi? Or Master Yu, the Earthbender who refused to train Aang? No. Instead, we have the Boulder. The Boulder is in every single episode. All of them. Even if he's draped in shadow, he's in every episode from the pilot to the finale. And he's placed next to some of the greatest benders of his era, Paku, Azula, and Aang. When we first meet him, he gets his shit kicked in by Toph in 10 seconds. So why all the fuss? Why is he in the intro at all? Well, in wrestling terms, the point of putting him in the intro is to put Toph over. By comparing the Boulder directly to Paku, Azula, and Aang, it shows the audience, who will recognize him the moment he steps into the ring, that he's not someone to be messed with. And then, by showing Toph kicking his ass, the point is to let us know that Toph is the greatest earthbender of all time. Of course, this is just window dressing. I could go on about the genius of Toph's reveal and the build-up to it, from the obvious teasers like Toph appearing as a giggling spirit in the swamp, to Aang's frustration with the cycle of elements in the episode The Deserter, but for now, I really want to get into the Boulder as a person. So far, all of this has been discussing the Boulder in relation to Toph. Why is he in the intro? Why is he shown to beat every single opponent in the pro-bending arena? Why is he so damn buff? To fake us out when Toph, a 12-year-old blind girl, ends up being the true earthbending master instead. But who is the Boulder? Well, for starters, he's a parody of a famous IRL wrestler, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. This is pretty obvious from his name. He's not bald, but he might as well literally be The Rock. The Boulder is a man who has integrity. He believes in righteousness. When he saw Toph get thrown out of the ring with no earthbending involved, he's suspicious. Of course he is. The Boulder's not a chump. He knows what pro-earthbending looks like. He's got an eye for this sort of thing. And once he loses the rematch to Team Avatar, he concedes. Unlike the pair of people who chased Toph all the way to Ba Sing Se. Actually, concedes isn't a strong enough word for what he does. The Boulder looks inside himself, realizes that he's part of a corrupt organization, and leaves. The group that he staked his entire reputation on, he just walks away from. Why? To fight for freedom. This is what I mean when I say the Boulder is a man of integrity. He could have stayed a pro-bender for the rest of his life and been fairly well off, but instead, he fights. He fights for his homeland and his people. He is a part of the raid on the Day of Black Sun alongside his fellow wrestler Hippo, and he sacrifices himself, alongside the rest of the raiders, for the Avatar. The Boulder could have died. Instead, the last shot we see of him is as a proud member of the awaiting crowd, witnessing Zuko's coronation in the same city he was trying to raid just months earlier. The Boulder, for all that he was meant to be a bait-and-switch for Toph's reveal, is really a fleshed-out character who could have just been a one-off gag like so many other characters were, but the team behind the show wanted to make a world that felt real, where people made their own decisions. And so,
The Boulder and the Hippo no longer fight for others' entertainment. Now we fight for our kingdom!
In conclusion, stan the Boulder, even if Toph's the better bender. Hey, I just wanted to add in a few minor details in this outro to preempt any comments. First of all, no, yeah, it technically isn't actually the Boulder in the intro at all. According to an interview, which is linked in the description, it's a weird beta version of Toph, who's supposed to be a dude and a buff, muscly earthbender who competed in pro bending matches, kind of full of himself, but you know, he had a big heart, lovable core. Does this sound familiar? You get what I'm trying to... Yeah. Also, while I'm here, I just love so many little details in this show, like... one of my favorite stupid memes of all time is this Reddit post called "When You Didn't Know Prince Zuko Was Skilled with Broadswords," and the caption is just that. It's just an image of General Zhao, and he says, "I didn't know you were skilled with broadswords, Prince Zuko," and that's the whole meme, and it's just so, it's so beyond dumb, but it's based on this actually super neat sense of continuity that Avatar has, because in that scene, right, Admiral Zhao is looking at the purely decorative broadswords with suspicion, because he thinks, sorry for the stutter, I'm not re-recording this bit. He thinks that Zuko might be the Blue Spirit. Obviously, they're the same swords, but those swords are actually, go back, they're in the first episode of the show. Presumably, they were originally purely decorative, and just a little detail thrown in by the background artists, but then the writers gave them to the Blue Spirit, and it added a ton of depth to Zuko. So this background prop then gets to be a source of fantastic drama, when you then become aware that Prince Zuko is, in fact, skilled with broadswords. Anyway, like, comment, and subscribe. Here's hoping this video doesn't get copy striked or flagged or whatever. This is my first video essay that's hopefully going to be about cartoons. I don't know why I said that. I don't know how to end videos.